We're back at it again. This is actually the second time for me filming this because the first time I edited it and then accidentally deleted one of the raw files I needed for it, so now we're going again. Hopefully it'll be tolerable enough for you to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because I would really appreciate that, as would my hairline. The sad thing about this video is the length of my hair on top makes it look like I've got the worst receding hairline of lockdown. Unfortunately, catabolism hits us all differently. Spam Fs in the comment section below, please. Hilarious home workouts, the sequel to the awful home workouts we've seen previously. We're going to kick things off with an absolute belter. Toilet roll full body workout, something I wish I knew about at the start of lockdown because that would have made my life so much easier. The movements she is performing could easily be performed without the added resistance of toilet roll, and take into account the fact that there really can't be much resistance at all. I mean, that's coming from me not actually knowing how much toilet roll weighs. So I've got scales and I've got toilet roll. Let's give it a crack. Unused and untarnished toilet roll weighs a grand total of 154 grams. That's quite a lot of toilet roll, and I get through that in like a day. Therefore, one could argue if you are set on adding somewhat minimal resistance to a movement, it might actually be worth cracking out a tin of food like Abby Pollock does, which is something I will never forget, but this may have topped it. Waste of my time. I haven't seen Whitney Simmons for a while since the booty builder video we did a couple of years ago, so we're going to bring it back and hopefully I will not be disappointed. I mean, as a whole, it's just basic movements, bodyweight movements. Focusing on movements that prioritise a bit of time under tension work, so as you can see, she's not actually touching down on the knees, therefore she's not really having rest periods between them. Not a bad shout. I mean, it's not something I would do personally, but our training girls are probably very different. I'm trying to approach this with an open mind and pick up on the fact that what she's doing is a lot better than a lot of the stuff I've seen. In fairness, I will give her this. Of all the movements I've seen regarding home workouts, this is probably one of the better ones, borderline not brass at all. The first thing that comes to mind is how big are his arms. The second thing that comes to mind is how impressed I am with the strength and sturdiness of those chairs. They look like they've seen some things in their time. They hold strong nonetheless, and no doubt those chairs are going to be taxing, like you've just gone ham at an all-you-can-eat buffet and the belt is popping off. Because I know I've been there a few times, unfortunately. That's how I got the name team for Never Lean. This is a person I've not seen before, but a few people recommended I have a look at her. Her name is Pamela Reif, but the title triggered me immediately, so obviously we're going to click on it and have a gander. 10-minute trained waist, medium level, for toned side abs. So one could assume that refers to the obliques because they are to the side of the abdominal region. It seems together she's basically strung together some simple oblique movements such as the side plank you're seeing now and slapped in a bunch of variations, perhaps implying that doing movements such as this may decrease the size of your waist. I've seen one of their leg workouts before and that was just like 7 different squat variations, 1 leg, 2 leg, no leg, arm squats. You know the drill. At the moment, which gains side plank variation, side plank variation, side plank variation, side plank variation, one after the other. Do I question whether it's going to be relatively effective for the obliques? Not really. Do I think there are more effective workouts you could do for the obliques? Absolutely. Maybe rather than chucking in mass amounts of variation, perhaps you could focus on doing the key movements multiple times to a high standard and really effectively. So here we have Natacha Oceane, again, someone we've done a video on in the past. I believe we said, as a whole, not brass. A few things could be improved, but better than a lot of the things we had seen at the time. And this is a no noise workout. I can understand the benefit of doing something that involves no noise, because if you're living in an apartment complex, people are below you, it may cause a bit of disruption for them, for example. You've got children in the house, perhaps you don't want to wake them up, etc, etc, so that's understandable. Immediately, despite what I initially anticipated with this video, she started off relatively high in my books. I'll give her one thing, the layout of the video and the effort that's gone into the production of it is quite impressive, and I appreciate that from a content creator standpoint. And what she's doing, she's basically trying to mimic a tire slam with a hammer at this stage. It does give me the impression that she could crack out the YMCA at any point, which is fine. If you want to have a dance, go for it, do you? It might be an effective no-noise exercise that I haven't considered before. I won't say much other than I've seen a few people do this at the club on a Friday night. This is definitely a YMCA move if I've ever seen it. But yeah, as a whole, that's not bad. I'll give you that. I was expecting a bit more sauce, but the sauce wasn't necessarily provided by Natacha, although it has been provided by a few people previously in the video, and you know for the last one, it's definitely going to be provided now. So we've progressed from the toilet roll workout. She listened, and now she's gone for the tin of baked beans workout. Level up from toilet roll, but the tin of beans is about 200 to 400 grams. Toilet roll is about 150 grams. progress. I've never seen someone so excited over a tin of beans before. Flapping your arms with a tin of beans to replicate a side raise and a front raise superset. I'm not convinced. Personally, I would have opted for a bottle of water myself if I had to choose. At this stage, she looks like she's trying to scrap anyone who doesn't put the beans back in the cupboard after they've worked out with them. Maybe this is going to be implemented as training for the next YouTube boxing event. I mean, we've progressed from cable kickbacks to baked bean kickbacks, which is something I thought I would never experience in my life. But it's also something I'm not complaining about because content and something else to annoy me. I feel like you would get your partner to do something like this to show them that they can stack the beans effectively before then placing them in the cupboard later. To like lure them into that false sense of security, like, oh, you can do look at that, she's placed them in the cupboard. I've nailed it. It's like I've seen this video before because I filmed a video on it before. Shocking. And that's it, that's the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, tolerate the next one because I'll probably do one more of these depending on how this goes. And I appreciate you all for hanging around. I'm sorry for the hairline and lack of hat.